Jesus is the only truth that was being revealed in the Old Testament. The truth that was revealed in Jesus is the only truth that is being spoken of throughout the whole Old Testament. The whole thing is about that. And if we don't use those things if we don't use Jesus to define what's happening over there, we get it all wrong.
Yeah.
And vice versa too. You know, back when I was preaching about the sacrifice, not having anything to do with God saving, us having to be saved from God's anger. And that it was all about us being saved from the sin that death brought. Well, when you look in the Old Testament, you can find a shadow of the sacrifice of Jesus through the high priest and the animal.
That's right.
Now notice when the high priest, before the animal was going to be sacrificed for sin, notice when the high priest lays hands on the animal, nowhere in the Old Testament does it say, and the high priest laid hands on the animal to lay the anger of God on the animal.
No.
Nowhere in the Old Testament does it say, and the high priest laid his hands on the animal so the wrath of God could be poured out on the animal. It doesn't say that anywhere. What it says is the high priest lays his hand on the animal to put the people's sin on the animal. Mm-hmm. The sin comes onto the animal, and then the animal is offered. Now, what does that tell us kills the animal? Sin, not God and his anger.
Right.
But if I don't use the shadows in the Old Testament to now define the sacrifice of Jesus, I come up with my own vain imaginations that's puffed up by the carnal mind that looks at human beings and through the carnal mind says human beings are disgusting and despicable. Therefore, the cross has got to be about God getting his anger out for man on Jesus.
Right.
But all the time, it doesn't go back and look at the shadows to match them up with the substance and sees if it fits.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Do you see how you do that?
That's amazing.
And this is how we don't come up with doctrines through our vain imaginations, but we actually get them from Scripture. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. The carnal mind says man is a worm.
Right.
That's what the carnal mind says. Well, from that foundation, what do you think you're going to think the death on the cross is about? God getting out his frustration with man.
Those worms.
The mind of Christ doesn't say that man's a worm.
No. No.
Man, that's beautiful.